It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Masayahu Israel, and we're here at a very special location, French's Tavern. Now, French's Tavern is very important because today we're going to be taking a look into the life of Thomas Jefferson. And Thomas Jefferson actually owned this property called French's Tavern, and he acquired it in 1772. And the fact that this property was so far away from Monticello, Jefferson decided that it was in his best interest to actually sell this property, which he eventually did to one Hugh French, thus the name French's Tavern. Now, Thomas Jefferson was born April the 13th in 1743 as the third of 10 children near the area of Charlottesville. Now, his father was one Peter Jefferson, a planter and a surveyor, who died when Jefferson was only 14 years of age. Now, at age 16, Jefferson actually goes to the College of William and Mary, and it's there that he meets Professor William Small, who actually began to teach him in the areas of mathematics, metaphysics, and philosophy, and also introduced him to the writings of Francis Bacon, Isaac Newton, and none other than John Locke. Now, Thomas Jefferson became a president March 4th, 1801, and he stayed in office until March 4, 1809. He sought to make government smaller, to reduce taxes, and he also was said to have lowered the national debt during his time. He also sought to criminalize the act of the international slave trade, and that's very intriguing, being that he did own slaves himself. And he also made sure that the Louisiana Purchase took place and hired Lewis and Clark for an expedition to survey that territory and land. Now, there were a few controversies with Jefferson, one of which was that he was a wealthy slave owner, and he used slave labor in order to maintain his plantation. Now, over the course of his life, he owned some 600 slaves, and some question how a man who fought against the international slave trade and crafted the words of liberty in the Declaration of Independence could actually buy and sell slaves necessary for his affairs. Now, Jefferson also had very controversial views on race. In his writing called Notes on the State of Virginia, he details his beliefs that Africans were inferior to whites and also supported deporting these slaves back to Africa for the colonization of that continent. He said in many of his writings that he believed that blacks were actually inferior to whites. It's also been rumored that after the death of his wife, that he had an intimate relationship with one Sally Heming. And this event has been as largely speculated as it has been disregarded. Now, another controversy is Jefferson's religious belief system. His spiritual beliefs were, quite complex in that he was not a traditional Christian and that he didn't hold to the deity of Christ or the doctrine of the Trinity. He did, however, appeal to what he called the pure moral teachings of Christ. He wrote a book entitled The Moral Teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, and he sought to synthesize those moral beliefs and to take away from it what he called the priestcraft of roguery. Though he continued to refer to himself as a Christian, he no longer held Orthodox Christian views after some time. Now, Thomas Jefferson's life could produce an exhaustive list of accomplishments. Each one could easily provide foundational source material for a book, and many of them have. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, served as President of the United States, completed the Louisiana Purchase, participated in the founding of the Library of Congress, founded the University of Virginia. He had a not so well-known accomplishment as well. He actually, with his background interest in the culinary arts, popularized the eating of macaroni and cheese in the United States, and he served it regularly at Monticello. Now, when discussing history from a biblical worldview, it is important to understand that a commitment to objectivity and honesty is essential to historical investigation. Now, regardless of our view of Jefferson, it must be understood that a study of his life and legacy must be founded upon this principle. We can never see any leader in greater light than the historical facts support. Now, there are those who don't believe that Jefferson had a relationship with Sally Heming, or that he was in moral support of the peculiar institution of slavery. Yet this does not preclude us as historians from searching for the truths in these matters. It is only through objectivity, founded in ethical honesty, that we can have the strength to research, probe, and question our most deeply held views. Although he's been criticized by many present-day scholars over the aforementioned issues of controversy, Jefferson is consistently rated as one of the greatest presidents of the United States. We thank you for tuning in with us this week, and until next time, we say to you, grace and peace.